Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
We are. I got mine. Talk. Great. All right. Technical difficulties. I'm getting you in the audio. Great. I think so. I don't know. Can anybody hear Mike? If anyone's listening, can you hear Mike? You're not showing up on the.
Steve responding to stuff. Maybe we should start over.
No, I think we should be okay there. All right.
Hello.
Yeah. No, I've got you now.
So we're recording?
Yeah, you want to restart this thing?
I would love to restart this thing.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay. Are we starting with the theme music that I didn't hear the first time, which is why I was startled when I started talking anyway, or are we just going right now?
What is going on with that then?
This is all that sweet, sweet B-roll you get, or pre-roll you get if you subscribe to our Patreon right here.
Brian, nice work. Thank you for the heads up.
Brian in the chat is the one who let us know that this was happening. Okay.
Brian
Thanks,
in the
Brian.
chat is in the chat.
Okay, and we're talking. Are we podcasting currently, or are we just still fumbling?
Both.
Well, yeah, it's always a little bit of both.
All right, I'm gonna re-record the. Okay. Hey Brian, we're gonna restart on you. It'll be the same screen, so don't worry about that.
Bye, Brian. Be right back.
All right, let's try this again.
Okay.
Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up, nerds? I didn't hear the music again. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. My name is Mike Gibson with me for the third time. Boy, what a mess. Recapping the week's nerdy news from your favorite streaming service back to the movie theater and everywhere in between. My name is Mike Gibson. With me as always is Steve Haller, who just mouthed the words "what the fuck" to his screen for not the first time tonight.
No, we're having way more audio trouble than we should. But I'd say we just rock it on YouTube, and I can always pull the audio from that for the podcast. So
okay,
fire away. We're here. We're doing things.
Okay, it's happening. Here we are.
We got other people in the chat. So
there's
hi, chat.
People in the chat.
Richard,
well,
our frequent guest or frequent chatter, Richard, is watching the Bills game in lieu of the podcast. He said he's going to hit us on the rewatch.
Well, thanks, Richard. Appreciate you taking us in any form. So, apologies for the technical difficulties. And maybe you haven't experienced them at all, depending on how the finished product of this sounds. But for those of you watching live, sorry about the technical difficulties. But yes, here we are, the Multiverse Report. Back for another week of not a whole lot of news. We are entering the holiday season. Sorry, we have entered the holiday season. And as you may remember from previous years, holiday season, not a huge month for like big news drops. There'll be some things here and there, but, kind of on cruise control for the rest of the year. Despite a couple big things, shows specifically dropping this week. We are days away, not only from new Star Wars, we're days away from the launch of the new James Gunn and Peter Safran DC universe. It's happening. Creature Commandos, December 5th. Oh my God. It's here. It's fine. It's years in the making, and we're finally here. Also, Star Wars Skeleton Crew I'm dropping a day early. It's supposed to come out Tuesday. Now it's coming out tomorrow. I think Monday. I believe Monday the 2nd. 2-episode premiere. So holy cow and holy wow. Lots of fun things going on this week, media-wise, but not necessarily news-related. And this might be par for the course for the rest of the year. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe we will luck out and get that Superman trailer. But for now, this is what we got. A couple DC things, a Marvel thing or two. And that's about it. Steve, we good to go?
I think we're good to go.
Okay.
Brian, are we good to go? We'll find out in a couple of seconds.
Steve was doing some way more than usual adjustments, like under the desk adjustments, while I was blabbing about Creature Commandos.
Yeah, I to see how the sausage is made, I moved my mixer a couple weeks ago, thinking, oh, I have my settings down. I don't need to worry about anything. When something like this happens, apparently you got to worry about stuff.
Apparently you got to worry. You always got to worry. Constantly worrying. Our first
I live in a
story
constant
tonight,
state of worry. It's fine.
constant state of worry. That's right. I almost breezed past the fact that we have a sponsor, and our sponsor is One Funky Town Comics and Vinyl in Camillus, New York.
Mm-hmm.
Steve and I both visited Funky Town Comics this past week. I went for a couple of reasons, but one reason was to dig through their recent back issue section, books that have come out in the last few months, because they were only $1. And I was looking specifically for Zatanna Bring Down the House #5, a book that I loved very much, and I missed the 5th issue of it. Apparently, Steve did that exact same thing the day before I was there and accomplished that task, where when I was there, I was unable to accomplish that task because Steve
Right,
bought
because the
them
book's at my
out
house.
from under me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I had missed 3, 4, and 5, and was like, oh, yeah. Jesse, where are those? He's like, hey, look in the dollar bin. I looked. I found them all. Apparently, much to Mike's chagrin.
Yeah. Lucky you. I get to not find out what happens until March when the trade comes out.
I mean, I could just hand you the copy the next time I
That's
see
true.
you.
Yeah, but will you?
Probably.
Will you? Oh, okay.
I'll bring it Wednesday to Scouts. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, Scouts. I see you multiple times a week.
Yeah.
That's right. Very possible.
Absolutely.
I also got, did you get a bunch of other stuff at Funky Town? Funky Town had a big sale this past week for Black Friday, but it lasted all weekend. Did you get anything else?
Weirdly, I ended up going and basically getting my pull. I
Nice.
was like, oh, okay. Jesse
Nice.
was like, where'd you get these from? I'm like, the wall and the box, like where my pull is.
Mhm.
And he looked at the titles. He's like, oh, this is just your normal pull, isn't it? And I was like, yep. Yeah. And I had the time. I was there. I was thumbing through bins, and I was like, I just don't, like, there was nothing that jumped at me.
Yeah, same
Like,
with
I
me.
think
Yeah.
for back issues, there was a stretch where I was grabbing a good number of like back issues. Didn't matter if they were crazy keys, didn't matter what they were.
Yep.
I've actually curated a list of like, these are books I want to seek out.
Oh, wow.
So I feel like I was too harebrained for too long, and now we're into like blinder mode.
Yeah.
So I need
Yeah.
to find a happy medium between the two, probably. But
Yeah. I go through swings of like, ooh, I need to like flip through every rack and see what book I can possibly get. But
yeah, don't get me
I
wrong. I
did-
went through every X-Men book they had, taking a look at it.
Sure.
But
nice. Yeah. I took a closer and deeper look at the slab books on the wall more than I normally do.
Yep.
Didn't walk out with any of those, but I did get a couple new books.
oh, I was this close. They have a that Paper Girls #1 that's signed by
Yeah.
Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chang, and I was
Yeah.
like, no, I don't need
I
that.
already do have Paper Girls #1, but not signed, so
yeah.
I guess probably not worth that much, but still something. I did also, however, because again the back issue sale was so incredible, I walked away with a sizable chunk of Gail Simone's run on Birds of Prey, which has become a
Oh,
run
nice.
that it's a long run, and seemingly anytime I see one, I grab it,
Oh, there you go.
especially if they're on sale for $1. So I'm pretty sure I have a double issues with this chunk that I got from Funky Town, but I haven't checked it against my actual box yet. So
I feel like
I'll
for the
figure that
dollar
out.
bin, you could at least
Yeah,
you're okay
that's what I'm
getting a
saying.
couple.
It's like $1. If I have two of the same cool issue of Birds of Prey, who cares? That's fine.
Right. I found that with
Um,
the new the Philip K. Johnson Incredible Hulk. I ended up with like
Oh yeah,
grabbed one that I thought I missed. It was one that I already had, but it was $1. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's fine.
whatever.
Everything's fine.
Whatever. Yeah. Um. But I did buy 3 new books that I'll be talking about later in the show.
Ooh.
Because I bought 3 new comics, and I read all 3 of them. Wow, what an achievement by me. Anyway, the locations at the top of this show during our intro that you may have heard twice, depending on when you started listening or watching, or
You
how
may
they
have not heard.
edited.
You may have heard
You
twice.
may have not heard it
Who
at
the hell
all.
knows?
Yeah, who knows what happened. Your favorite streaming service to back to the movie theater has referenced the fact that this past Thanksgiving week, the highest grossing Thanksgiving weekend at the theatrical box office of all time, domestic box office. First, Steve, how was your Thanksgiving, buddy?
Good. Great. Spent
Yeah?
it at my home with my family sick. My Thanksgiving dinner was a Gianelli sausage patty melt with a side of cheese curd because it was
Dope.
what was in the fridge.
Sounds good. Sounds
There's
great.
still a turkey breast sitting there waiting for me to one of these days throw on the smoker,
up.
but
Yeah.
this week was not it around the Haller household.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that.
All good. Better to do
Um,
it here than travel and find out there.
That's true. That's true. We hosted for the first time to
Oh.
a small group of people, and it went really well. We were very happy. Thought it was very successful. Happy
Nice.
with what we did. Also exhausting though.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
And I know I just started talking about our first story, but I do want to say that now, because Thanksgiving was so late, we're already into the Christmas season and the holiday season, and I have each one. My wife, my son, and I each have an Advent fun calendar thing
Mhm.
that we're doing every day. My son's doing a Star Wars Lego one. He's done that
Nice.
before. It's very cool and fun. My wife is doing a puzzle one where each day you get like a chunk of a puzzle,
Oh, that's
and
kind
you
of
can
sweet.
put that little chunk together, and then at the end you get a big puzzle. I have a Funko Star Wars Christmas one, and this was day 1
Okay, that's
of
great.
my little Funko Star Wars. I'm calling him R2 Dolph.
Nice. Very
Yeah.
nice.
So not necessarily going to show every single one on the podcast, but I figured it was day 1 and
Oh,
we're
yeah.
podcasting. So here he is, R2
That's
Dolph,
pretty
the
awesome.
red lit reindeer. I don't know.
The
Anyway.
you know, they really they missed out on that by not going with R5D4 just because he's red.
Hey, maybe he's behind another door.
Could
I'll
be.
let you know if he is. I don't know what's in there.
The yeah, we didn't actually we crossed some streams and my wife thought I got the advent calendar for our son and
Oh.
I thought she did, and one's coming from Amazon tomorrow.
Hey, there you go.
So
There you go.
and he was
gets to
sick
do,
today,
like,
so
2
he
in
didn't
one day.
care. He didn't even
Yeah.
know.
Awesome. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. The combined forces at the box office this weekend of Moana 2, Wicked, and Gladiator 2 led to an estimated $420 million over the 5-day box office total. That's Wednesday through Sunday. Over half of that is for Moana alone, because it was the opening of Moana, Wicked's in its second weekend, Gladiators 2, I think it's in its like third or fourth weekend or something. But still, that's huge
Oh yeah.
for a weekend that has never seen that much money before for a non-summer weekend. Deadline, it's a cool quote in the article that I read about this, saying, "What's clear in the current post-COVID marketplace is that while there is no floor when it comes to a movie bombing, there's also no ceiling when movies connect." Meaning,
Yeah.
since COVID, we've seen some historic box office bombs, but we're also seeing when movies hit,
They hit
Moana
hard.
2, Wicked, Barbie, Oppenheimer, these movies hit hard. Exactly.
So is this like Mo Wickliator, like Barbenheimer was, or
Mo Wickliator. Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what everyone's saying.
it's totally rolls right off the tongue. Roll right off the tongue.
Man, I wish that's what they were saying. We should be in
I
charge
th-
of coming up with dumb portmanteaus.
Right. I don't know if that one's going to catch on, but
Mowiculator. Mowiculator? I didn't remember what you said. anymore, but I love
Mowicliator.
it. Mowiculator. I love it. So yeah, people are going to the movies again. That's exciting for me. And I feel like there's been a lot of talk over the last few years of like, oh, the theatrical experience is dying and no one wants to go to the movies anymore. But
It all comes
really
down
not
to
true.
our podcast mantra. Make a good movie.
Make something good.
Yeah.
Make it good and people will enjoy it. Yes.
It's the field of dreams. If you build it, they will come.
Right. Yeah.
Suck less.
Honestly, I haven't even really heard any reviews of Moana 2, but people are just so excited to see it that they're just going in record numbers that it brings in over $200 million.
Aren't they also
but,
doing a live action Moana?
They are. That is the weird thing. They're also doing a live action remake of the original Moana, which is weird considering that the sequel is just coming out and there's going to be another installment in the franchise that's a remake of the original. Like, just make a third one. What are you doing? Like, Disney, you're killing yourselves here.
Oh, that never happens before.
It
Also,
never
Alan
happens,
Tudyk's in that. Is Alan Tudyk in everything now?
Yeah, but I think he's just like a chicken. I think
Okay, that's
Alan
kind of
Tudyk
amazing.
is Hey the chicken in Moana. It just makes weird clucking sounds.
That's the most Alan Tudyk role that you could possibly Alan Tudyk.
That's how I remember from the first one anyway. Also keep in mind, I don't know if we've talked about this on this podcast because it's not like we talk about Moana that often, but Moana 2 was originally going to be a series on Disney Plus, and they changed it midway through production to make it a film, which in a lot of people's brains, including mine, thought, uh-oh, that movie's going to suck because it was not designed as a movie. It was designed as a series. And they're just changing based on, the whims of whatever executive has made that decision or whatever. But I don't know. Clearly it is connecting in some way. But it also clearly, really good decision from them. Why would you ever make it a series? Like the first one was a huge hit. Why wouldn't you make a sequel, a theatrical sequel?
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
100%.
Clearly, in this situation, whoever made that decision was right. Because it's crushing it at the box office. So
I have something that I did not realize about the aforementioned Alan Tudyk.
Okay.
Did you know that he has voiced a character in every Walt Disney Studios animation film since 2012?
I did not know that. I know that he's been in a ton of them since 2012.
Apparently
but not
every
single
one since 2012.
Wow. I mean, even if he's just a dumb chicken in Moana.
Right.
That counts.
He's a rooster,
So that's
please.
cool. Yeah, that dude is doing well for himself. And about to join the DCU officially.
I still think his best role was on
Thursday.
Firefly.
Live action? Absolutely. Yeah. I think so.
Oh, you know how reavers clean their spears, right?
Sorry, what did you just say?
You know how a reaver cleans his spear?
Oh,
He runs it through the wash.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I've never heard that before. But as soon as I heard I knew the punchline
It
based
clicked
on
as
the
soon as
straight
you.
line, but I was like, I'm gonna let Steve do it.
Yep.
Because I can't yeah. Wow. Sorry for the people who haven't watched Firefly that don't get that joke. Also
Spoilers.
also spoilers, but you should also go watch Firefly and then watch the movie Serenity,
Mm-hmm.
which is a really killer film. Speaking of killer movies, here's one we're not going to see: Young Avengers. Oh, what? A lot of reports coming out this week that the MCU's long rumored plans for a Young Avengers film are changing. Now, we've been hearing scuttlebutt about a Young Avengers film for years.
Yeah, and they've been setting it up for years.
They've been setting it up for years. They've been slowly introducing these younger characters here and there throughout the MCU. Never an official announcement on it. It seems to be like the biggest the biggest known secret in Marvel right now is that they're working on a Young Avengers project. Sources are now hearing that it's going to be turned into they're going to do an opposite Moana. They're going to turn it into a Disney Plus series instead of making it a live action
Sure.
film. And not only that, they'll be also changing the title and not be using the brand Young Avengers, but instead using the team name Champions, which is also from the comics,
Mm-hmm.
instead of Young Avengers. The name change currently thought to be due to the age of some of these actors.
The not so
Haley
young
Steinfeld.
Avengers.
Haley Steinfeld's almost 30 years old. You know, like, what's the cutoff for
Right.
being young? Youth is based on your own approximation to it. Does that make sense, what I just said?
We'll go with it.
Like, how do you define young? When you're 20, you define young differently when you're 50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
100%.
it's a hard title to use, I guess, when Haley Steinfeld's Hawkeye is 27 years old or whatever. She is clearly one of the characters that would be included in this film and or series. Also, Iman Vellani's Kamala Khan. Patriot, Hulkling, Wiccan, we just saw in a big way in Agatha All Along. Some of the characters that could potentially exist in a Young Avengers / Champions film. Now, Steve, to my recollection, Champions is the actual name of a team from Marvel Comics featuring Kamala Khan, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Man,
Amadeus
and
Cho.
Nova.
Yep.
Correct?
Not Richard Ryder though.
Okay,
The other
the other guy.
other Nova.
The other Nova.
Amadeus Cho. I think Patriot was in there at some point.
Oh, really? Okay.
Was there like a time display Scott Summers at one point?
I don't know. I mean, there was in the mainline X-Men books for a while.
Yeah, that was an interesting in the all new where
Yeah.
the old team was the new team with the old team with the whatever.
Great.
Welcome to the X-Men. None of it makes sense. It's whose line is it anyway? It's all made up and the points don't matter.
Yeah.
So
So what do you think about? I think we're both on the same page, thinking that it's obvious that they were looking to do a Young Avengers movie or whatever. Now they're Champions movie or series or whatever. But Steve, do you think this is a good idea? Do
No.
you think it's better off as a
Well-
series or a movie? And what do you think about it being called Champions? Is there a problem with it being called Champions versus Young Avengers for any reason?
I mean, they've been fast and loose with everything like that for a long time. I mean, what are we gonna see? Like we saw Scar in She-Hulk. Maybe he shows up instead of Amadeus Cho or who the hell knows. Like whatever they want to do, they can find a way to do it. And taking that tag away, I guess, does open it up. There's nothing that says they have to follow the roster of the Champions team from the show or from the comic. Like, also at the same time, why wouldn't they just make a new name or a new team or whatever? Like, why do you have to tie it in?
They would never do that. They have to tie it. They have to because they feel like.
But the problem is they tie it in.
People know what it is.
But they tie it in and then they half-ass tie it in. And then they'll have half the people bitching about X and then half the people bitching about Y because they left out, out the young Nova or left out, Amadeus Cho or whatever. It just, I don't know. They're not going to be able to please whoever the hell they want to please.
True. Do you like it better as a series or would you prefer it to be a movie?
Again, don't care as long as it's good. I think the series, if they're going to have as many people as it sounds like they are, is going to be a better way to kind of let it cook a little. But at the same time, Civil War worked.
That's true. Civil War worked, but Civil War was with a bunch of more established characters.
You mean like White Widow and Hawkeye, and like we have a number of established characters and then a number of new characters, which is what Civil War did. They're not as established, but
I was gonna say I don't think like Patriot or Gar or Wiccan are quite as established as like Captain America and Iron Man and Black Widow and the Avengers were before Civil War, though.
Oh, you mean all these random characters that they added that nobody actually knows unless they're deep into it like we are?
Yeah, I do mean that.
Like that is, I
But,
guess that's the other thing is they're down this rabbit hole, and do you continue down here, or you're already talking about things pivoting hard once Fantastic Four drops to, and once Secret Wars happens, to mutants. Like,
Yeah.
what are you just doing this to hedge your bets? Like, what's the purpose?
well, you never know what the purpose is. Hopefully, the purpose
Well,
is
you know what the
because they
purpose
have a
is.
cool. Well, yeah, that's the money is the purpose for everything. Hopefully, the purpose is besides money. Hopefully, the purpose is that they have a good idea
Right.
for this show and to tell a good story, and not just because they have to fulfill Haley Steinfeld's contract or
Right.
buy her out or whatever. I don't know. I just feel like if it was a film, I think the title Young Avengers as a film seems too spin-offy, and almost too like Muppet Baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
No, 100%.
yeah. And whereas Champions as a film, people will be like, well, what the hell is that? I don't know that. I don't know what that is. But I think making it a series is a way smarter idea. I think it could be either a mediocrely received film or a banger of a series. Because maybe there are characters that we're not as familiar with. Like you said, maybe they get fleshed out a little bit more due to the expanded time frame that a series can deal with,
Mm-hmm.
and you do get more time with these characters.
Yep.
So that when they do make the jump to a film, Secret Wars or whatever, or something afterwards, people are more familiar with them. I think also, this is not my opinion, but I can also see why they're not in a rush to put Ms. Marvel at the front of another film after the Marvels did so poorly last summer. I thought that movie was good. I certainly didn't hate that movie, but it was a huge bomb for the MCU. So I can see.
Yeah, I
them
think
being
we
like,
we both enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, I don't think it was perfect, but
Right. No,
I
it was
it.
an A+. No, would I watch it again? Sure.
Yeah, had some cool visuals. Made me really laugh my ass off during one sequence completely.
Yeah.
So, but executives don't care about that. They just look at the box office budget and they're like, "We're doing another movie with this character? No, sir,
Right.
we are not." So anyway, that's the report on that. And speaking of the MCU, I've been casually rewatching some MCU movies as of late. I think I mentioned last episode or episode 2 episodes ago, I decided to rewatch some Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Yeah.
And I included Infinity War and Endgame in that rewatch, since those movies are very pivotal to their storyline. I also recently watched the first Avenger, Captain America, with my son. Just kind of jumping around here and there. And here's what I got to say. I feel like the last couple years, certainly of doing this podcast, I've talked a lot of shit about the MCU and the decline of the MCU,
Mhm.
I should say. I feel like I've been a little too harsh. I gotta take that back, because some of these movies are bangers and they're great. Like, I went into a lot of these movies. Every movie I just named.
Yep.
I went into thinking that I was going to like it way less than I did the first time. That was not the case at all. I liked none of them less. I liked them either the same or more than I did previously. That includes Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Most that movie's ever worked for me.
Okay.
I thought it was excellent.
I need to
Infinity War,
rewatch that.
hot take. Infinity War, great movie. That movie rules.
Right.
I really thought that was going to be like a convoluted mess that I only cared about at the time because of the thrust of the Infinity Saga and Thanos and the stones and all this shit. Nah, that movie's great. That movie's great. It balances all these characters really well.
Yeah.
All the motivations are very clear for all the characters, even if the motivation is, I just need to stop this guy from destroying half the universe. It's so well done and so well shot. It's well directed. The cinematography is really good. And I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said a million times since these movies came out, but just staggeringly good. And so I'm just I want to apologize for some of the shit that I've talked about Marvel in the last few years of this podcast. Because I do feel like the Phase 4 and Phase 5 stuff still has not worked for me quite as much. But the lesser stuff recently for me kind of clouded my memory of the original stuff, of the Phase 1, 2, and 3 stuff. And not everything in those phases are perfect either, but I don't know. I'm kind of like, and like rewatching the ones I've rewatched my reaction to them is making me want to rewatch more of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, oh, if these are as good as I remember, what are the ones that I think are great? Like, I need to rewatch Spider-Man: Homecoming and Thor: Ragnarok and the original Iron Man. I haven't seen those in a long time, but those have been at the top of my list, top of my ranking of the MCU for a long time.
Well, it was like when I went back and rewatched Winter Soldier, and I was like, God damn, this movie is good.
Yeah, and I did that not long ago too, and I loved the first 2 acts, and the third act started feeling, I think, a little quote unquote Marvel-y.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like that's the first movie that felt like that.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't hold that against Winter Soldier. But honestly, Winter Soldier's kind of dipped a little bit in my rankings versus some of these ones I've rewatched recently, including Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, a movie I loved when it came out. That might be my favorite MCU movie. I watched it last night. That movie's incredible. So good. So well done. Incredible villain. High Evolutionary should be talked about with all top tier Marvel villains, I think. That dude is a maniac.
Are you talking Guardians
Singular
3?
focus.
You just said Guardians
Volume
2.
3. 3.
Yeah, prior you were talking about 2.
I was talking about 2 and I jumped to 3.
Got it.
I was saying
okay. Yes. I would 100% agree with you. High Evolutionary, like, absolutely nailed it there.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like so focused on a singular thing that he does not care about everything else is ancillary, and he destroys an entire world that he created because he's dissatisfied with. That happens in that movie. A genocide happens in that movie.
Right.
And it's wild.
Yeah. And
So
Chukwudi Iwuji, like, absolutely takes the cake. Like, he just...
So intense.
Yeah.
So intense. Also, the holiday special, I watched that was amazing.
Nice.
And I remembered it being amazing, and I was like, oh, still, this, it all held up way better than I expected it to. So I just want to mention that and say I'm sorry to MCU people who've heard me shit on it for so long, and maybe have been mad at me, or, or even to you, Steve, the Marvel guy of this podcast. I'm sorry if I...
Yeah, but at the same time, I agreed with you on most of it.
Yeah, I know you agree with me that, Quantumania is not a masterpiece and Love and Thunder isn't the best.
No, but I feel like, remember, Quantumania to me was a lot better movie than a lot of people gave it credit for.
It was better than I expected. When I finally watched it, I was like, oh, okay, it's not the worst thing.
Right. Like, the way it was described and the way it was talked about was like, this is one step up from staring at paint drying, or like... in actuality, it was fine. Did it knock the doors off? No, but it was fine.
It was fine. Exactly. Anyway, that's my soapbox on the MCU for now. And now, jumping to DC, just like I'm doing in my rewatching of things. One of the reasons I watched the Guardians movies is that I wanted to rewatch some James Gunn stuff leading up to Creature Commandos and the launch of his universe. So I'm going to try my hardest. I probably will not be able to do this, to watch the Suicide Squad and all of Peacemaker before Thursday. I don't think I have enough time to do that.
No, you don't.
I really don't.
Like, it depends. I mean, if you want to do
Unless
nothing else, but like take a full day and just watch it all, and you may not enjoy it.
Throw away all my other responsibilities as a human being. So, not going to make it, but I'm going to try. And I forgot what my segue was going to be, but we're going to talk about DC right now. So that's my segue. We're talking about it because this is a question that's come up a few times on this podcast. I believe Richard in the chat asked it possibly last week or the week before. Whether or not Robert Pattinson as Batman is going to end up being folded into the James Gunn DCU. So right now they've said that they're keeping him separate. It's going to be a new, tonally different Batman as the star of the Brave and the Bold Batman movie, whenever that gets off the ground. James Gunn has commented on this further, and he has clarified that yes, the Matt Reeves Batverse is still moving forward. Now, in my opinion, of course, why wouldn't it? The Batman, huge success for Warner Brothers. Its spin-off show, The Penguin, massive success for Warner Brothers. I can't see anybody looking at the numbers on this and saying, no, we should stop doing this. We should no,
Right.
People are into this. People are into this universe. They don't want to discontinue it. They don't want to stop it. They don't want to contaminate it with something else.
People like a grounded universe? A street-level grounded universe?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Huh. Haven't we been calling for that for a while now?
Quite some time.
Yeah.
Quite some time.
You know, wait. There's another anthropomorphic man that wears a suit that could probably use one of those.
Probably could.
Yeah.
Probably won't get one, though.
No, probably not.
I wake up at night. Sometimes I wake myself up screaming for grounded universes, for grounded superhero storytelling. I just wake up saying, make it more grounded! Make it more street level! My wife calls the police every time.
It's a guy. Daredevil and Spider-Man together.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me Luke Cage.
Yes. Just stop a bank robbery. Stop a heist.
Bodegas.
Every night. Every night. I wake up screaming bodegas. I know what it means. My wife doesn't. She thinks I'm
You're speaking in tongues.
And maybe I am.
Fair enough.
Maybe I am. Anyway, some idiot was posting on Threads this week, as if he knew for a fact that the Batman Part 2 had been canceled and that they were not moving forward with any projects taking place in the Matt Reeves Bat universe. Now, this person clearly was not sourcing any information and was just saying, like, this is never going to happen. They're going to cancel it. So someone tagged James Gunn and said, James Gunn, is this true? And he responded to that person that tagged him and said, quote, like, why would you even believe a rando on social networking? Of course not. If it was canceled, it would be canceled. Who has the time for charades? I've been one of Matt's biggest cheerleaders for years. Since Cloverfield and the Apes movies, we are eagerly awaiting his script. So there's an answer for all of you asking what's going on with that. It's still happening. If it was canceled, they'd announce that it was canceled. They're not waiting for some mystery thing to happen so they can announce that it's canceled. Nah, they would just cancel it. And we would hear about it if it was, basically, is what he's saying. And so we haven't heard about it, so it's still happening. So be happy and be patient, because that's just what you got to do. Be happy
and patient.
That's right. Key to a happy life. Speaking of Batman, speaking of things that may or may not be happening, Warner Brothers and DC may be developing some new animated Batman films. Now, this is according to a new entry on something I've never heard of before, the Entertainment ID Registry Association, EIDR.
Sure.
Is the website. Now, on this website, Warner Brothers has registered an ID for a film called Batman Nightfall Part 1. So, all the articles I read were claiming that this is possibly an animated film. There's no indication on that registry page that it was an animated film. Just said it was going to be a movie. But I can't imagine that they're going to make a trilogy of the Nightfall series when they already announced Brave and the Bold. So I think animation is the best.
That was just a mini too, wasn't it?
Nightfall?
Yeah.
No. Nightfall was like a big sprawling thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was way off.
Yeah. As you're about to learn. The registration page also lists it as a release date of 2024.
Read the show notes. Yeah, got
read
it.
Ahead. But I honestly, Steve, I like it when you don't read ahead, because then I get genuine reactions from you.
There you go.
Surprise or shock or whatever. Yeah. The registration page also lists a release date of 2024. That's clearly not happening. So who knows why it says that. But in this case, if they were making an adaptation of Nightfall, I would think that seeing as how James Gunn is just starting to get a DCU off the ground, it would be wild to me if they started their Batman with a Nightfall adaptation. So my guess is that it would be animation. Just seems the most probable way to go. Batman Nightfall was a huge 3-part comic event that was started to be published in 1993, where Bane famously breaks Batman's back. We've seen it in tons of adaptations since then, in cartoons and in movies. If Bane is in a movie, he's going to mess with Batman's back. That's just like what Bane does, according to people that don't read comic books. Bane breaks Batman's back, and that's it. It was basically after the success of Death of Superman in comics, DC was like, well, what can we do with Batman? Let's cripple him. And that's what happened. So Bane breaks Batman's back. Bruce is down and out and asks the vigilante Azrael to take his place while he heals. Azrael, of course, then goes too far, and Bruce has to get his strength back so he can win back the mantle of Batman. It was released in 3 parts over, I don't know, a couple years, I think so. It was Nightfall, Night Quest, and Night's End. Nightfall was the downfall of Bruce Wayne. Night Quest was Azrael taking over and then going too far, and Night's End is Bruce Wayne coming back and defeating Azrael. So, if this is true, this could be a cool trilogy of animated films. Although, would it be part of the DCU? James Gunn has said that animation is also going to be a part of that. Could it be an Elseworlds thing? Sure, it could. Could it be a backstory on the mainline Batman of the DCU? Could be like a prequel to that, our version of Batman of the DCU. Who knows? Yeah. But there you go. There you go. Steve, what do you think about this? Do you care?
I mean, if it's good, it seems
good.
like a lovely concept that people have enjoyed over the years, and sure.
I'm actually pretty surprised they haven't, because DC was really cranking out those animated movies for a long time.
Yeah.
2000s or 2010s. Kind of surprised they never did an adaptation of Nightfall in any way. Maybe they thought it was overdone. But
yeah, could be.
Ripe for the taking. And that's it, man. That's all the movie and TV show news we got this week. I guess that was a pretty dry week if you wanted to launch into some comic stuff.
We might as well.
Do you have a comic to review officially?
I do, and one that you may appreciate.
Oh boy.
I'm continuing my DC kick here.
Hell yeah. What is it?
This is an Andy Kubert cover of Justice League Unlimited #1 by Mark Waid and Dan Mora.
I almost picked that up when I was at Funky Town. I didn't get it though. Dan Mora is so good.
So Dan Mora is part of what got me hooked on Once and Future. I mean, the combination of Kieran Gillen and Dan Mora was like, yeah, okay, this is great. I need more of this. Plus Arthurian Legend. You had me.
Yeah.
Great book, great art, as you can imagine, like we've just talked about. I mean, it literally, the second page is a full-blown splash.
Whoa, that's cool.
Again, let's go to the expert. Do you have any clue who what's his name? Nope, not him. Airwave.
Bug?
Do you know who Airwave is?
The name is vaguely familiar, but I can't pretend that I have any kind of encyclopedic knowledge.
Apparently, he's that guy.
No. No, I don't think I do.
He's a new recruit into the Justice League.
Okay.
Basically, he gets sidelined, ends up getting called in, makes a difference, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill. Twist at the end. Good setup as a #1 for, hey, where's this going? What's going on? Yeah, all in all, it was definitely interesting.
Wow.
My first Justice League anything ever. So, yeah, I mean,
awesome, man.
It's very weird seeing all of those, because I've read a lot of individual books from individual pieces of that puzzle, and just watching the interactions and whatnot. It's like, okay, this is different, just because very wildly different power sets and teleporting and all sorts of weird shit going on. And
It's the same with the Avengers, though. It's just different. Yeah.
Oh no, 100%. It's just like in my brain, I've always processed all these as individual characters.
Right.
So,
yeah. I mean, that's kind of why Justice League books are so fun. because they shouldn't really work together, but
Right.
they are working together, and that makes it fun to
Mhm.
see. I don't have an official review. I was hanging out at Funky Town for 30 to 40 minutes, probably, just talking to Jeff, talking to Jesse, hanging out, shooting the shit. At no time did either Jesse or I even bring up the podcast or the fact that I need a book to read.
Yep.
To review. Not even once. So totally our fault. But like I said, I did buy a couple books, and I will review for you tonight. Issue number 1, Black Canary, Best of the Best by
Oh,
Tom King.
Shit, I forgot to grab that.
Tom
I
King
actually
and
wanted that.
Ryan Sook is on art. Dave Stewart is on colors, and Clayton Cowles as letterer. That is a banging team right there.
That
Banging
is.
team. So this is a mini series. I believe it is one of 6. I think it's a pretty it's a shorter mini series, and I liked it quite a bit. It's definitely a setup issue, but it also delivers on some really cool stuff. Basically, Black Canary, Dinah Lance herself, has been booked. We don't even really know why. Hired, whatever, to fight a character we were just talking about recently. Lady Shiva,
Oh, okay.
like in a professional ring,
Huh.
like a professional fight.
That's like yeah. They're
And
kickboxing or something.
yep. So they each get their own little splash page introductions there. Great art. And so the book is intercut with Dinah training, going back to her hometown, talking to her mother, and doing some training to lead up to the fight. And the fight itself, in which she alternates between getting her ass handed to her and landing a few lucky punches. Some really cool and visceral
Oh yeah. That's
artwork
awesome.
where the fight goes. You don't. I'm wondering if the fight is going to last the entire series, because there's talk about the announcers calling she's going to go down in this round or she's going to go down in this round or whatever. Also, a really great double splash page of the Justice League watching the fight at home.
Just randomly in street clothes.
Yeah,
And, yeah.
yeah.
That's gonna be
Clearly, Green Arrow is standing up, seeing concerned for her because they're a couple. But yeah, Cyborg's there, Flash is there, Crypto, Green Lanterns. It's really cool. It was really great. I'm very interested to see. There's kind of a bit of a twist where she meets a mysterious person at the end, and some dialogue opens up some questions as to maybe why she's doing this fight or just what is going on in general. So I'm very much looking forward to issue 2 to kind of expand this, but it's kind of classic Tom King. Like there's a bit of a mystery with some, he's writing this character very well so far, and he shows a very good understanding of her.
Yeah.
And I'm down for it. I will probably be picking up issue number 2. And like a lot of Tom King stuff, I'll probably be trying to collect the whole thing and then also buying the trade when it comes out. So pick that up if there's a second printing. I think Funky Town might be out of it. But I did add it to my pull, so that's why I got my
Nice.
copy. I also bought and read Batman Santa Claus Silent Night Returns in time for the holiday
Nice.
season. This is a weekly book coming out each week until Christmas. Very cool, fun. It's like a Justice League book, kind of like what we were talking about. The first one didn't have quite as many characters as this one does. This is a straight up opens with Justice League fighting a villain known as the Silent Knight, Knigt. It kind of goes from there. The team gets delayed. Robin escapes and goes to recruit Zatanna. And as they're figuring out what to do, who shows up but Santa Claus himself, looking badass with his axe stuff. These books are fun because they're not treated like jokes. These books are fun because nobody outside of a few panels in issue 1 of the first Batman Santa Claus book No one's really like, oh my God, is it really Santa Claus? Like, no one's making jokes. No one, it's, Santa Claus walks in the room. It's as if Superman walks in the room. They're like, oh, hey, you're here. Great. You can help us with this. Like, they're
Right.
just treating him like another character. And, it's comic booky, but it's also like, it's not like winking at itself.
Right.
It's not trying to be funny or trying to be silly, which makes it more fun and cooler. And also, I don't have an in-depth thing on this, but the last issue 4 of the Frankenstein
nice.
book, confirmed that I did not pick up issue 3. However, I still got issue 4 because this gorgeous Jenny Frison cover here. Couldn't say no to that. Despite not reading issue 3, I know the story of Frankenstein enough that I picked up issue 4 and was not confused at all.
It's
Very cool.
Pretty road
ending.
at this point.
Yeah. A lot of great imagery from the
nice.
film. Awesome burning windmill there toward. And it was great. I'll probably pick up the trade of this because I love the character and I love the story, and I'm a big Halloween guy, and it was really well done.
Nice.
So, yeah, big shout out to all those books. Go get them at Funky Town Comics.
Oh yeah.
And vinyl.
And this week, I believe we talked about last week that. Wait, is it not? Leonardo, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4.
Yes, it was last week, right?
Not that I know of, because it wasn't in my poll.
Oh, really?
So.
We definitely talked about it last week.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to talk to Funky Town about this, because.
Laying down on the job there, Funky Town.
Let's see. Either way, I caught up on 1 through 3, and they were absolutely killer.
Yeah.
Release November 27th. What the hell's going on here?
Heck.
So I'll have to have a frank discussion, or Donatello, sorry. I'll have to have a frank discussion with our friends down in Funky Town. So
is Frank a new hire? I haven't met him yet.
No, I think actually no, because I was literally talking on Wednesday to Jesse about it, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's for when Turtles comes in, because they had the little Donatello masks." So maybe IDW was late this week.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Mabes.
We'll figure it out someday.
Knows.
But that
some books
that's killer. The Jason Aaron's doing stuff? Jason Aaron things, and they're doing good.
Awesome. Good to know. Good to know someone's taking care of my precious turtles. This week, what is coming to your local comic book store? And hopefully, my local comic book store. Absolute Superman #2. Action Comics #1078. All New Venom #1. Avengers 21. Avengers Assemble #4. Steve's new favorite, Batgirl #2. Batman #155. Batman Santa Claus Silent Night Returns #2. That's right. This is a weekly book leading up till Christmas, so you don't even have to wait that long. Birds of Prey #16. Conan the Barbarian Battle of the Black Stone #4. Creature Commandos #3, just in time for the show coming out on Thursday. The next title I'm about to read is the yearly DC's holiday anthology book. Shocking and insane that they have never called a book this before. Ready? DC's Batman Smells Robin Laid an Egg #1.
Wow.
How long has that been a thing? And they have never called a holiday book that.
You tee that one up. That's
right?
That's been on the docket for a while here.
It's been there for over 40 years, to my knowledge. Deadpool Wolverine Weapon Extraction #1. Dick Tracy #6. Dread the Halls #1. Free Agents #6. Hack Slash Body Bags #2. Justice Society of America JSA #2. Kerpow #2. Little Batman Month 1 #2. Holiday Tales to Astonish #1. That's the Marvel version of the holiday anthology. Marvel Zombies Dawn of Decay #4. Miles Morales Spider-Man #27. NYX #6. Poison Ivy #28. Red Sonja #16. Red Sonja Death and the Devil #4. The Rocketeer Breaks Free #4. Sesame Street #4. Shazam #18. Steve, I'm about to read the name of a book that is on issue 16. And despite it being on issue 16, I've never heard of it. And I've never said this name before. But I saw it, and I needed to say it out loud, and I need to put it on the list. Are you ready for this,
I am.
listeners? Snot Girl, number 16. Snot Girl. Snot Girl.
I'm
Snot
trying to figure
Girl.
out what that could even be.
I haven't done any research, but Snot Girl 16 coming out this Wednesday. Star Wars Battle of Jakku, Republic Under Siege, number 3. The Exorcism at 1600 Pen, number 2. Two-Face, number 1. One of my favorite Batman villains, getting his own book for the first time ever. Two-Face, number 1. Ultimates, number 7. What's the Furthest Place from Here, number 20. Wolverine, number 4. X-Force, number 6. And X-Men, number 8. Bam.
There you go.
You looking up Snot Girl for me?
I am, and it's
Gross?
very
Is
awkward.
it gross?
It's just, I don't know. I'm seeing all these A covers, and it's just a girl with like a little snot coming. You know how like 11 in Stranger Things has like the blood?
Has the little blood drip? Yeah.
Yeah, this is just green snot.
Gross.
Kind of weird.
Kind of weird.
It's from,
I assumed it was
Brian
a
Lee
girl
O'Malley.
made of snot.
Brian Lee O'Malley, who did Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, that makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
If it's coming from a Scott Pilgrim kind of vibe,
Mhm.
that makes some more sense. All right.
So
All right.
the first collected is subtitled "Green Hair Don't Care." Hey,
Awesome.
I'd give it a go.
I assumed it was a girl made of snot, but that's not
No, that's
not really Leo O'Malley's style.
no, and that's Glob Herman from the X-Men.
Oh yeah, Glob.
Just
Sure.
Glob.
Steve, you picking up any of these books this week?
I think X-Men,
course.
Wolverine, and Ultimates are
Of
still
course.
on my poll.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, probably Batgirl. That hasn't
Yes.
officially made it to my poll yet, but the first one had me. So,
Personal victory for me.
and then Absolute Superman too. Like
Wow.
those absolutes,
Awesome.
I picked up Wonder Woman 1 and 2 as well. They had the second printing of Wonder Woman number 1.
Oh, the
and,
absolute. Yeah.
The number 2 came out last week, so
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna grab those.
Awesome.
I'm
Man.
I'm reading almost as many DC books as I am Marvel right now.
And I'm so proud of you. So proud of you.
All it took was them completely changing everything in an absolute
Yeah.
universe.
Well, not even that, but they're giving you a new spot to jump in on.
Yeah,
You know?
I think a lot of hesitance I always had on DC was just that in my brain it would always feel so rote. Because like
Yeah.
you can only kill Batman's parents so many times, or
Right.
like
Yeah.
Superman does Superman things, and like I'm overgeneralizing in a grand scheme of things.
Of course.
Most
understood.
Superman books are they don't know how to write Superman.
There's certainly been a lot of cases for that. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme, I think this is giving me like you said, a great jumping on point to, feel
Yeah.
refreshed about these characters. Similar to like I haven't read an ASM book in probably
Yeah.
8-9 years, and
Yeah.
Ultimate came out, and I was like, yeah, I'll grab that.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah,
that also
I
had
feel
the
the same
Hickman
way.
tag on it, so I was like, okay, this is gonna be weird.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. Like Spider-Man is a great example. I wish I had jumped on the Ultimate train, but it sold out so quick that I couldn't grab it.
They do have the
But,
trade down at Funky Town Comics and Vinyl right now for sale.
Oh, they do. Okay, I should put that on my Christmas list or something. Yeah. I mean, I've said this, but so many times I pick up a Spider-Man book in just to see what's going on, and I either feel like this doesn't feel like Spider-Man to me, or I have no idea what's happening to the point
Right.
where it turns me off and I put it back down.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't get into it. And I don't want everything to be a reboot or everything convention for every character because continuity matters to a certain extent. But when you can do something like this, where you get pretty radical reinterpretations of these characters, but still feel at their core their purpose or their drive matches the mainline continuity, then yeah, it works as a great jumping on point, and it kind of reinvigorates fandom. It gives the writer more elbow room because they don't have to worry about that continuity, so they can do crazier stuff. So the energy of the book is different, and it shows in the success of these 3 books. Now,
Oh yeah.
I'll be very interested to see if they end up expanding this absolute line at all, and if we get like an absolute Flash or an absolute Green Lantern or something like that. I'll be interested to see that.
Yeah, I'm still. I actually just texted Jesse about the Ultimate Wolverine.
Yeah,
That one is going to be. I mean, that's an instant pull for me, but also like
that's
seeing Wolverine as a villain, not just as a anti-hero.
Oh, is that the premise?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's for lack of a better Cliff Notes description, Logan is the Winter Soldier.
Cool.
Which I don't know if you can get more like Winter Soldier badassness.
When does that come out?
January, I believe.
I feel like I should get that.
It's
because that'll be one that flies.
Oh, it will.
Off shelves for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Cool.
texted him because there's a Gabrielle Delato 1 in 25 that is just stupid good looking. I probably will not buy it, but I wanted to know if he would have it at the store.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to see the thing.
Of course.
But the A cover is just like look it up. It looks cool as hell.
Awesome. I'll be pulling. Let's see. This is my pull week, so I'll get Birds of Prey. I'll probably pick up Batman Santa Claus Silent Night Returns #2. Poison Ivy is still on my pull list, even though I haven't read the last couple issues. It's really hanging on by a thread. I probably should read those issues and decide if I want to keep going. I was about to drop it, and then I just couldn't say no to a couple Jenny Frison covers. By the way, I went to Jenny Frison posted that she was having like a sale on her original art.
Oh yeah.
For Black Friday, so I went to her website and I looked at her original art, none of which sells for less than $2,000. Like most of it sells for over $3,000.
Right.
So wasn't going to buy any of that, but I
that wasn't sitting in the budget.
No, wasn't going to happen. I was like, I'll check it out, see what's there. Oh no, I can't get any of this. None of this is happening. When I was writing this down, I saw those 2 Red Sonja books that are coming out, and I realized that I still need to read the 3rd volume of Gail Simone's Red Sonja, so I might put in an order for that via Monkey Town.
There you go.
Those books are great. Steve, you getting the Deadpool Wolverine Weapon Extraction? Is that anything that you're into? No.
I've never really enjoyed reading Deadpool.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know why. Like I love his concept as a character. I don't mind him if he's in X-Force or something like adjacent.
If he's a
like
side character.
My favorite X-Force team included like cameos here and there of him, and there's plenty of good use for the character, but no, like in general, I love him on the screen. I love him here and there. I love the thought of Deadpool, but it just never doesn't translate into me reading him.
I am kind of in the same boat as you. I often am interested. I feel like we're mentioning Gail Simone, or I am Simone a lot in this podcast. I'm often interested in her run of Deadpool because
I never read it.
Known as like a. I know I hear that it's like a character defining run, and she did a great job with it. Why wouldn't she? She's fucking Gail Simone.
Right.
And I've never read it, and I love her as a writer so much that I feel like I would appreciate that more. But I know what you mean as far as like he's better as a side character kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
The best Deadpool comic I ever read was coincidentally a Christmas issue where a bunch of kids like that were on the naughty list got coal for Christmas, and so they hire Deadpool. They pool their money. And they hire Deadpool as a mercenary to go kill Santa Claus, and he has to go kill.
Okay, something that ridiculous. Okay.
Yeah, It was just a single issue. It was just a
Yeah.
one issue that I just had. Like I heard about it and I was like, that sounds funny, and I picked it up and it was amazing. It was
yeah.
really funny and fun.
Well, that was
But
like
yeah, I haven't read a
the
ton of
X-Men
Deadpool all the way.
relaunch. Like he shows up for a one issue cameo of like, oh no, we hired you to be here, Wade. Like now get the hell out.
Right? Yeah, you're done. You're not part of this.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, no,
Cool.
that Uncanny X-Force though. Did I ever give you that trade to read?
I know.
You
I
gave
read
me
a couple.
6
I
and
gave
7.
you two that I had. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I had later volumes, and I'm not sure. I think I just heard that it was a really good run, and so I got two volumes that I saw somewhere.
But by
they
the time
weren't-
you had gotten, by the time the run had gotten to where you had gotten those two, it was already like those first 4 trades are just
yeah,
some of the best X-Force I've ever read.
I think that's what I was missing. Because I read those two, and I was like, this is fine, but it's not like
Yeah.
blowing my mind. Like I'm jumping in mid-story, and I don't really know what's happening, but like it's
Yep.
cool and it's fun. But if Steve's got the others, then I'll just give these to him. I forgot that I did that. Yeah, because I was trying to clear out some of my shelf space.
Yeah, because it's Wolverine, Phantom X, Deadpool, Psylocke, and
Archangel, right?
maybe. Jesus, now I
He's
gotta
a
read
part of it for a little bit, I think. Because there's that I don't I haven't read this issue, but there's a panel that I see online all the time of like Angel or Archangel is like dying or hurt, and Wade is cutting off pieces of his own flesh and
Yeah.
giving them to Archangel to suck on because his healing factor will
Yes, and
translate
then-
through the blood or whatever.
Right,
So he's like,
and then the
healing is
volume
gross,
2
but it's
Yeah, Volume 2 has Deathlock in it, and there's
Yeah.
it's
comics are amazing.
okay.
Comics are awesome. So much fun. So much fun. Steve, are you more excited for I think I know the answer, but are you more excited for Skeleton Crew or Creature Commandos this week?
It's got to be Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, because that's Skeleton Crew is dropping to. Are they doing like a time gated drop?
Oh, like yeah, it drops at 8 o'clock on my guess is yes. Because it's supposed to come out Tuesday and they bumped it up a day. So I think it comes out tomorrow.
Right. Well, part of me was I'm disappointed because I was like, well, if there's no time gating, then like when I'm done with work, I can watch it with my kid or something.
Yeah.
But meh.
My issue is that because me, my wife, and my son are all planning to watch Skeleton Crew.
Yeah. I
but
finally showed Sebastian the trailer, and he was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like,
right?
"Yeah, buddy."
It just looks like perfect for kids.
Yeah.
So but at least like one of us or two of us has something every single night this week.
Oh,
Which will prevent all three of us from sitting down and watching it together until Saturday, which is
from
gonna be hard for me.
From Friday night. Last night, the SU game went until like 7:30.
Yeah.
So I was there. That was my first reprieve from playing housekeeper for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And then this tonight, band tomorrow, scout meeting on Tuesday, scout meeting on Wednesday, and then I'm in Philly Thursday to Sunday.
Oof.
So yeah,
It's a lot.
this week's pretty much chalked up to nothing. Well, and then next Monday will also be banned. So I'm not free until next Tuesday. If you need me for anything.
Okay. So are we podcasting next Tuesday instead of next Sunday?
I don't know. I mean, I'll be back in town at that point. So on Sunday.
I don't think I can do next Sunday either. So maybe a later.
Oh, we can do
start
Monday. Then.
Monday.
We'll do Monday.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, so there's that heads up for you.
Yeah.
Loyal listeners, loyal watchers. But other than that, that's all I got. Steve, you got anything else?
No, and if there's any updates you want to hear about when we're podcasting or when we're going live or anything, you can check us out on the socials. The Multiverse Report on wherever you find your stuff. I believe lately we've been Blue Sky primarily. Maybe some threads here and
Blue
there.
Sky, I tried to do
Instagram.
threads. We've gotten a lot of followers recently on Blue Sky. A lot of new followers.
Nice.
Okay, so thank you if you're one of those people following us.
Oh, and
But can you do me a favor and engage with the content? Because
That'd be
personally,
nice.
I've gotten a huge influx. Personally, my personal Blue Sky account, huge influx of new followers in the last few weeks. I went from 100 something followers. I'm approaching 1,000 followers.
Oh, okay.
Little to no engagement. I post the same thing on Threads and the same thing on Blue Sky. Crickets on Blue Sky. And, you know, like regular likes
Normal
and responses
conversations
on
and yeah.
Threads. Yeah, like, what's going on? I don't understand. So thank you for following us on Blue Sky, but please give us a like.
Yeah.
Or a repost or something. What's going on? I don't get it.
I'm also going to cut out the middle of our plugging ourselves in order to plug your local library, including if you're in the Syracuse area, the Solvay Public Library next week. I believe they're doing a Christmas extravaganza that you should check out for Brian in the chat as well. I can't remember any details on it, but we'll probably toss something out on socials to plug that as well. If you're in the Syracuse area, check it out. You can check with the guys at Funky Town or us, or if you know Brian, talk to Brian. And it'll be a good hit all around. If you're not in the Syracuse area, you should like and subscribe, and you can hear more about things that we're doing in and around, or not in and around the Syracuse area. Follow us on your podcatcher of choice. Subscribe to us there. Like, subscribe, do whatever on YouTube. Talk to Brian and Richard who are in the chat. Please come hang around.
Also, before I wrap it up, while we're plugging stuff, December 14th in Syracuse, New York, at a little venue called Funk and Waffles, my band is playing our a holiday show. We haven't played in a couple years. My band, The Action, and also my band Against the Giants is opening for my band, The Action, while we're playing Halloween show. We had an opener cancel on us, and we were scrambling to find somebody. So hey, side project. So if you're somebody that, so I was like, oh, I like Mike, I should go see his band. Guess what? You can go see 2 of my bands in one night, and that counts as 2 friendship points. So there you go. So that's December 14th, Funk and Waffles. Come see The Action play fun holiday show, and also go to Solvay Public Library next week for their big holiday event. And I think that's it. So at the 2 sunset over the burnt corpses of Owen and Baru Lars, we say thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the multiverse.